Though Ryan's lemonade from The Office is probably a close second, there's nothing more refreshing on a summer day than a cold glass of lemonade, unless that lemonade has alcohol in it. No, we're not making mixed drinks, that was another episode. Today, we're making hard lemonade. The best news is, we're gonna make 5 gallons for less than it costs for 1 case of Mike's Hard Lemonade at the store. So, get your brew pants on and let's get to it. We first need to start off by seeing the ghosts of homebrew past, because I tried making some hard seltzer, but I got the wrong yeast, so it's not really doing too well in the fermentation department, and I know that by using one of these little fellas called a hydrometer. When the yeast eat the sugars and make alcohol, the gravity goes down in your final product. But when you give the yeast a ton of sugar, they get a little too full too quickly. So let's see if we can have better success with the lemonade, and spoiler alert, we do. First we'll start with setting up your boiler on the back patio like Bobby Boucher and the Water Boy, and bring 3 gallons of high quality H2O, aka distilled water, up to a boil, and add in a mountain of white stuff that would give Tony Montana a nosebleed. Let's call it 2 pounds of corn sugar, because that's what it is, corn sugar. Not to be confused with table sugar, and definitely not with cocaine. Stir that around and add in 1 pound of extra light dry malt extract. You can get that at a local homebrew store or on austinhomebrewsupply.com, and a link for that will be in the description. And stir like crazy so this stuff doesn't stick to the bottom of the pot, which it will do if you neglect stirring it. Once everything is sufficiently dissolved, remove from the heat and add 7 teaspoons of DAP Yeast Nutrient. Then put your whole pot into a sink with awaiting cold water and ice, and we're going to cool that until it gets to about 75 degrees Fahrenheit. While we wait for a sweet lemonade to cool, sanitize and bring up 1 cup of water to between 90 and 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Then add about 7 teaspoons of yeast nutrient, and you can see how precise I was there, and 1 tablespoon of some lemonade concentrate. Add 1 packet of our EC 1118 yeast, and this is a champagne yeast that should be able to eat the sugars without stressing out. And like I said before, yes, yeast can be just as stressed out as a teenager waiting to be asked to prom. Also, be sure your lemonade concentrate doesn't have any preservatives like potassium sorbate, or otherwise the yeast will fall asleep and 2 weeks later you won't have any delicious hard lemonade and it will be sad boy hours. Add 10 more cans of lemonade concentrate and top up your lemonade to 6 gallons of cold water and shake the ever-living out of it. Then take a hydrometer reading and it should be somewhere around 1.050 or 1050 gravity. If you want more sugar and therefore more alcohol in your final product, you can adjust this recipe to your heart's content by putting in either more sugar or more of the malt extract. Then put this bucket somewhere it can rest at room temperature for a couple weeks until you take a gravity reading about 1.000. 2 weeks later. So then when you get the gravity you're looking for, which is about a 1.000, you're going to get 3 cups of water to a boil in a pot and add 3 cups of sugar and 2 of those cans of the lemonade concentrate. Whenever it comes to a boil, remove from the heat and stir it all up and add 3.5 teaspoons of potassium sorbate. That's the stuff we didn't want in our lemonade concentrate, but now we need to put the yeast to sleep. We don't want them to eat any more of that sugar or else it's going to be very, very dry, but we want a little bit of that sweetness. So then once you do that, add that to a sanitized keg and put it on the gas, and this is the result. Nice and carbonated. This is after a couple weeks of being in the keg now, and it's really nice and carbonated. It tastes great the way it is. But if you want to add something different, you can add one of the squeezies, which I think is much better than getting just a 4-pack of the Mike's Hard Lemonades, because you can actually try different things. And if you want something different than I do, then we can all have what we want. So I'm just going to squeeze a little bit in and enjoy my new fruit punch lemonade. Thanks for joining in. Everybody have a great 4th of July, and I look forward to cooking or brewing with you next time.